What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my gods and goddesses? We are back again. Happy summer solstice to everybody out there listening. The vibes are heavy, the energy is massive. This is a great time for all of us. I do see this summer solstice being, in general, something that is going to be very vibrant for everyone, but especially all the zodiac signs as well. So, Cancer season is here. We've had a lot of Gemini energy come in, and now it is time to do a bit more of reflection. I see with this summer solstice. Um, you know, as it applies, it's like with us living this life giving energy, right? We're encouraged on this solstice to tend to all that has or will ripen in our own lives. So I do see this being a time of renewal, connection, and centering all things that brings light and life. This is epic for all of us. I'm doing that in my own personal life. It's really strategizing and reflecting on my past 6 months and where I want to be at the end of this year. So this celestial forecast is in play because the sun shifts in Cancer, like we talked about. So this is going to offer like an early preview of the biggest transit this summer, right? So remember, Venus is going to go retrograde beginning July 22nd. So just as the sun makes its move into this cardinal water sign of Cancer, it's going to form a semi square with Venus in Leo. So it's going to be kind of a clash of energy because of the planet of self, the sun we're talking about, and the planet of love and pleasure, Venus. So as a result, I do see the energy maybe making us feeling the need, like I said, to review, to rethink how we approach relationships with ourselves, but also relationships with others as well. So it's important to tune in to the conversations and conflict, both internally and externally, as this solstice energy starts to arrive. So I'm a few hours ahead of the actual summer solstice. So the summer solstice here in Europe is going to start at about 4:57 p.m. So I'm going to drop this at that time. But I just want people to understand, like, this is a theme that I sense that arises on this day, is like that deep work, that deep inner need to reflect on our relationships, to reevaluate the energy that we're giving in our relationships and what we're receiving as well. So I do see the added dramatic of this sense being like an emotional undertone of the solstice is the movement of the moon and intense Mars, right? So both our wicks will be like centered from our heart because of the Leo energy. So this means we will experience the full spectrum of emotions, perhaps to an extreme. Naturally, that vibe could filter through our relationships, like we talked about, but generating tiffs or perhaps even bigger conflicts of values or priorities. So, in short form, I'd say like this Mars energy can be very amazing for standing up for ourselves, but it will also be explosive and highly rebellious as well. So, definitely let's use this Mars energy wisely. Though potentially, this might be a tough moment, especially for our relationships trying to go uphill. We will prove beneficial in the long run, though. Certain conflicts and even breakups may happen to make space for more authentic connections to be born down the road. Ooh. So definitely get ready. Obviously, this is kind of a synopsis of the different aspects and different energies that we should expect with this summer solstice. But I do want to say there is some good news. Mercury is in Gemini, so the planet of communication also forms a supportive sextile with Mars on today. So helping us to get vocal about a cherished goal, like where are we headed, where do we want to get to, right? Which is to say, we may feel more confident and comfortable expressing what it is that we want from our partnership and beyond. So allowing us to turn intentions into actions. Exactly how these energetic shifts will affect us obviously depends on your birth chart. So I would say if you do want a reading, please send me your first and last name, date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth to official Montu-Ra at gmail.com. So that's a brief summary of kind of the energy on today. Obviously, we're still focusing on this 6 month period with this summer solstice, but at the same time, I do want to talk about how this is going to affect the zodiac signs, like what we can kind of forecast in a sense with the summer solstice, but also how to harness this energy accordingly. So if you have a rising sign, your ascendant or your moon or sun is in Aries or any particular sign, I will say, like, we are all the signs, right? But at the same time, this is a general consensus that I want to just go over. So first, we're going to start with Aries. Shout out to all the Aries out there. This is like an emotional dynamic with this Cancer season beginning, right? Because things might be tough and things might be a bit of out of chaos or chaotic in a sense. But at some moments this summer, you might feel like your creative juices have dried up. But I do see that's the furthest from the truth. Instead, maybe consider you might be on the cusp of a personal change to get your mojo back. You might find that you need to try something new, new flavors, new vistas, just something new, and most importantly, a new approach to the relationship you have with yourself as well. So definitely tap into that. Shout out to all my Aries. Next, we have our Tauruses. Shout out to all the Tauruses out there. You can find that the connections you're pushed to re-examine this summer are like familiar ones, right? Because diving into your roots and family dynamics will bring you an incredible amount of healing if you decide to shed light on the stories that need rewriting. So definitely rewrite your story. After all, making peace with your past can be a valuable part of living mindfully in the present. So shout out to all my Tauruses. We're rewriting history. We're definitely going for our goals and definitely telling our own truth. Next, we have Gemini. Gemini season just ended, but you know you guys are all rarely short on words to share with others, right? But these next few days are all about finding the right words, the right ones when it comes to your internal dialogue, right? So instead of putting yourself down, try loving yourself more. With radical self love comes an opportunity to create that reality that you desire. So shout out to all my Geminis out there. We just had that new moon in Gemini, so definitely a lot of energy is coming through us in the Gemini's, kind of spectrum in our life, right? So that's definitely some great advice for all of us. Next, we have Cancers. I want to ask Cancers though, what do you truly value, right? That's the question I have. Is suggesting that you ask yourself as this solstice arrives, as Cancer season starts, as the sun shifts into your sign. This energy is going to activate your first house of self and identity, illuminating the need to change your overall priorities. Definitely be careful of investing too much energy and resources into people and things outside of yourself. Woo! I love that. So definitely continue or even start to find your own identity. Even with the Aries energy, this still has something to do with that mojo. Remember that first house of self has to do with that Aries energy. So sometimes our Cancers can get lost in providing value for others and nurturing others. Don't get lost in your own sauce, is what I'm going to say. Next, we have my Leos out there. Shout out to all my Leos. I love my Leos out there. This day is giving Leo some serious energy, and there is no doubt you're bound to benefit from this energy. I can feel it already. With so many planets activating, obviously, the Leo sign that we talked about, the season ahead portends major transformation. We've been talking about transformation a lot throughout this year, and especially since I did start this podcast. I do see this will be the season to change the way we carry ourselves, how we assert ourselves, and how we relate to others. I do see that there is no rush though, right? Because by the time fall rolls around, we could have an entirely changed self-perception. So this is an epic time for all signs. Shout out to all the Leos. We got some major Leo energy piping us up right now, so definitely take advantage of this time. Next, we have our Virgo. So this summer is like a balancing act for the Virgo energy between socializing with others on one hand and embracing the solo time on the other, right? So it's very important to make decisions on connecting with others versus self-based on your intuition. So tap into that. To consider beginning or deepening maybe a meditation practice or doing some type of yoga. Definitely, it's always going to be some type of health things for Virgo. It's definitely always going to be a sense of bringing value to others, staying organized, maintenance of self, right? So this is no different, but I do see possibly deepening that practice that you have or wanting to partake in. Next, we have my Libra. Shout out to all the Libras out there. It may come to a little surprise to this Libra energy that Venus is ruled by the sign of relationships. So, like the relational undertones of the summer will affect you deeply, though, as hard as it might sound. The connections that you are no longer truly aligned with in your life could just dissolve. So, it might be time to like reconsider whether those you root for actually root back for you in the same passionate way. Definitely find that balance. Like I said earlier as well, it's like um, especially with the Geminis and just really everybody, it's like um, are you bringing value to those, or are others bringing value to you? Is there like, is everything being genuine? Is it being reciprocated in the sense of, are you the only one doing so much and feeling like you're not getting anything in return? I do see those energies dissolving, especially for this Libra, because always wanting to find balance, always wanting to be fair. But definitely, we're all going to be reassessing our relationships, especially during this last part of this year. Next, we have our Scorpios out there. Shout out to all the Scorpios. The relationship related tension and opportunity of this year's solstice connects to the realms of your larger belief and purpose in life. I've been talking a lot about that with Scorpios. Perhaps it's a relationship that'll move you to make changes in your career, or maybe a current partnership has a way to give you that focus and the energy on a project that feels genuinely meaningful to you as well. So, in any case, moving with the flow when it comes to your larger life goals this summer, I do see being well served. So, definitely tap in or continue to tap into your strong beliefs. Obviously, with that full moon in Sagittarius, we talked about shooting in the direction of our dreams, of our goals. And I do see that is no different with Scorpio energy in us as well. So, definitely tapping in and having us focus on the larger than life goals as well. Next, we have our Sagittarius. Shout out to all my Sagittarius out there. I will tell my Sagittarius though to buckle down for a perspective shift, right? Perhaps a reality check this summer might happen. By the time Leo season rolls around, the cosmos might bring you an identity crisis or two in an effort to get you to shift your entire mindset. Remember, this is that transformation that we're all going through. So the way you see the world around you might be shattered. And I do see a lot of spiritual awakenings, a lot of us continuing or going to start to go down these rabbit holes of truth, trying to find our purpose. And I do believe with Neptune going retrograde on June 30th, that is going to be kind of the beginning of that. But at the same time, this summer solstice energy is here. And I want people to understand kind of before this energy starts to take place. I do think, especially with Sagittarius out there, it'd be wise to use this time to renew your energy and to practice that. And I'm going to say that's self care, because um, and like the other zodiac signs, leaning to relationships that really matter. So this is all about relationships for all of us. This is all about taking care of our mental health, but taking care of our physical self, spiritually, emotionally, and with our friendships, with our relationships, with our loved ones, making sure that we are um, feeling good being in these relationships as well. Next, we have our Capricorn. Shout out to all my Capricorns out there. Emotional Cancer season could push you into situations that feel vulnerable for our Capricorns and perhaps uncomfortable. So for a force of nature like you, you know I love my Capricorns, but remember the only way to get comfortable with intimacy is to embrace it more often. So when you're in the company of people who you love and trust, I would definitely say to open up. You know, it'd be wise to open up in service of the richer bonds because you will create those. So definitely don't be too stone walled for my caps out there, for my Capricorn energy, that earth sign. You know, they just like to put in the work. They got this strong exterior, but definitely start to open up with the remainder of this year, especially with the people that you want to be with and love. So that's something to think about as well. Next, we have our Aquarius. Shout out to all my Aquarius out there. Connecting deeply with others may not come naturally to you, right? But with the sun and the nurturing Cancer, you know, with this nurturing Cancer energy, you may feel encouraged to see relationships in a new light. Consider that relationships are often mirrors, and I say that all the time. We are a reflection of the people in our life. We are a reflection of what we say to somebody else. So let's never forget that. But whatever you don't like or appreciate about others can teach you something important about yourself. So pay attention to your interactions. And I've been saying that all the time. It's like the things that we say, good or bad, is just how we feel about ourselves. Maybe that's on a subconscious level, but that is the truth. So definitely, even me personally, like I said, I'm not exempt from any of this information. Make sure you do your own research. Make sure you tap into your own inner God and goddess because that's very important. Don't take anybody's word for anything, not even mine. I want people to do their own research and dive down their own rabbit hole to find their own truth as well. So last but not least, we got our Pisces. Shout out to all my Pisces out there. You have an opportunity to take care of your relationship with yourself this season. I do see this being very important because it's like with both Saturn and Neptune retrograding in Pisces on either side of the solstice, you may feel as though the universe is pushing you to what? Review, reassess, maybe even reimagine what it looks like for you to live your truth, right? Because Pisces can sometimes be the ones that don't speak their truth. They might be the ones that have a lot of emotional baggage because they're caring so much for other people in the world itself. So I want my Pisces out there to definitely speak your truth, to definitely tap into yourself, and definitely know that you are needed. And that can mean like what? Going back to the basics. Focus on making changes to your daily routine. Um, Definitely, like we just talked about before, directly supporting your mental and physical health, and the rest will follow. So don't get too caught up in having all the answers right now, right? But definitely understand that, especially for my Pisces and all of us out there, especially having us to tap in or tap back into ourself as well. So this is a very important time for all of us to tap in with us, but also with our relationships and do a lot of reassessing. So I definitely want to talk about, last but not least, just some different rituals that we could do today. I'm going to do a few, but I definitely think about doing something outside, maybe taking a walk, maybe just doing some sun gazing on today. Maybe you want to plant some flowers during this day or during this next week or so or this month, right? Maybe having a spa day or, you know, to getting a light workout in or, you know, doing maybe some physical activity, but also taking care of yourself. We're talking about this Cancer energy, this nurturer. We're talking about the home, of course. We're talking about this goddess energy. Remember, this Cancer is ruled by the moon, so we're talking about that subconscious mind. So definitely maybe some meditation, but something maybe tapping into the sun's energy on today is something that I would definitely suggest for all of us, and that's something that I'm going to tap into. But I appreciate everybody for tapping in to this episode. Shout out to everybody on this summer solstice. This is it. We're at the halfway point. This is going to be a great day. I bless everybody and want everybody to continue to follow your dreams. And let's see where we end up in the next 6 months. It's the God Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.